All right, I'm here with Chris, one of my students, and he's been absolutely crushing the YouTube game recently. So I wanted to bring him on here and hopefully drive you some game and give some insights into his success, his mindset, and yeah, just his journey through the whole thing. So Chris, you want to start it off by saying like where you were before, doing YouTube before joining the program as versus where you are now, and then we'll get into the specifics, numbers wise afterwards.
Okay. Um, so I thought I could talk a little bit about what I did before YouTube.
Yeah,
So I've had an e-commerce site since 2008, and I kind of hit a ceiling with it a few years ago. And so it's not enough money to be just full-time income. So I've tried for years to find something else to do online, and I've done eBay, Etsy. I wrote Kindle books. I did ClickBank and ran Facebook ads. And so there's very little that I haven't done online. And some of those things, they'd work for a little while and then they'd stop working. And I took a million courses and, did a lot of different uh, coach, went through coaching programs and all that. And I can talk a little bit about, how you're different from those other coaches that I had. But, and I had dabbled in YouTube, and I actually, prior to getting started with you, I had two channels that got monetized, and, I'd make 50 cents on a video or $2 or something like that. And I now know, things that I could have changed, um, but yeah, so that's and so we started together in March, sometime in March. It wasn't really until April that I kind of started uploading videos all the time. But
yeah,
one thing, the let me go out of Discord because it's giving me notifications, so it's beeping. I don't know if you can
I can't hear
hear
it,
that. Oh,
so it's
okay. If you
fine.
can't hear it, then that's all
Yeah.
right. So
So cool. I mean, just give me a little bit of update. I don't even know what your revenue's at or anything. I know that your numbers look really good on the channel, but yeah, give the people a little bit of update. I know you had a couple of videos that got pretty good view counts. So talk about like some of the highlights there, overall how the channel's going, the revenue, all that stuff.
yeah, so it's going really well. I got monetized. So today's September 3rd. I got monetized August 5th. So it hasn't quite been 30 days yet. And I'm at when the thing updated tonight, I'm just under $3,600.
Oh
My
yeah.
biggest video was about 370,000, and that made me like 1,300 bucks just from that one video. And I had another one go like 250 or so. I've had a couple others that, were in the 100,000 range. And then I have had a bunch that have been, 15, 20,000, 50,000, in that range. And a lot of that has really come really in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, I made like $1,800 the last 7 days. So, you know,
Dude, that's so sick. And
mhm.
especially like a channel your size too. Like it's still very much in the baby phase, the infant phase of the
About
channel.
6,000 subscribers now. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of that's come in the last few weeks too. Where
Mhm.
you like 2,000 subscribers just like a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I would say probably the hardest thing about this has been, I think getting monetized is probably the
Yeah.
hardest part. That was the hardest part for me because so I'm going on vacation Friday. I'm going to go to the beach for a week. And really kind of my goal before that was just, well, if I could just get monetized before I go on vacation, then I'd really feel like, I'm moving somewhere. And then I got monetized, it's been about a month or so ago. And then, it really took off from there. And I messaged you and said, well, I feel like I have to keep moving my own goalposts because it was like, well, if I could just get monetized by the time I go on vacation. And then it was like, well, maybe I'll make like 10 bucks or 20
Yeah.
bucks or something like that by September, right? And then it was like, as I started, I was making 20, $30 a day or whatever. And I thought, well, maybe I could get to 500. And then it was like 1,500. And then, you know,
Yep.
well, I couldn't get to 3,000. And now I'm at 3,500. So my
Yeah,
best day was like $697.
dude. That's crazy. Like I don't know if you got like there's so many people who are doing really well right now with pretty small channels for how much money they're making. I don't know if y'all realize how much like how special that is. Like making $3,600 and it's not even been a full month yet since you've been monetized at a
Mhm.
channel your size is pretty insane. Like that's pretty nuts. So yeah, good stuff. But what would you say is like the hardest let's make it more general. What do you think is like the biggest? I know you said like the first 1,000 subscribers is definitely the hardest for sure. Everybody says that. But other than that, what was like the hardest challenge that you hit with your YouTube process? Could be like a mindset thing, could have been like just getting started, could have been finding your niche. Like, what do you think was the hardest, most difficult part?
What I think really was I hit a period there where I was starting to get, I would get like a couple thousand views, or even pretty early on, I had some that were in like the 5,000 range. And I think the big thing was just kind of finding a voice, because I was trying to be kind of real, sort of middle of the road.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of weeks, I really leaned into just like, and I had a period there where it would be like, so mine's a political uh channel, and it would be like, okay, if I would take this stance, like I would have this group of people that would be mad, and then I would take this stance, and sometimes it would change, what group was mad at me. And there was a period there where like my likes were, I had a couple where it
Yeah.
was like 6% likes or something like that. So
Yeah.
I finally just thought, I'm not really going to worry about what. And I'd done this before, and I've had a friend of mine and I did a podcast for like 3 years. We were uploading those to YouTube. That was, monetized. And we would get, it wasn't super polarizing, but we'd still get people to be like, you guys don't know anything about movies, you're idiots and all that. So
Yeah.
I'd kind of gotten used to that and just ignore that. So I don't really pay attention to the comments now. But after that period where I had those real low likes, I thought I'm just going to kind of lean into a stance that I think is interesting and then go with that. And what seemed to have happened is YouTube was just kind of like, okay, these are the people that are going to want to see that. And I still get negative comments now, but I mean, my past 10 or 15 videos, it's all like 95% likes.
Yeah.
So I think, so that was kind of the big thing, was just like not being concerned about, just like make your stuff, and YouTube is going to figure out where to put you as long as you're consistent with it. And, you've said not to be all over the place, to commit to something for 6 months. And, I'm not even, I don't know how many months is that, April to,
3.5, 4, something like
yeah. So
that.
I'm not even at a 6 months point, and, I've stuck with it. And then the other thing was, so I work full time. So time management has definitely been an issue. And I was right before we got on, I was looking back at how much I've posted, and definitely those first couple of months, I was trying to post every day, but I wasn't doing it every day. And then in the last few weeks, I bumped up to two a day. So most days I'm doing 2 videos a day. And that was when I really saw, because with 2 a day, one could flop and another one could do really well. So,
Yep.
um, so those are probably the two toughest things.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say is like the biggest kind of along the same lines question, but what do you think is the biggest insight that you've learned from the journey? Could be something that I told you, or it's just something that you learned on your own, or anything.
I don't know if you want me to give secrets away. I mean, I think you talk about this on the channel, but one of the really big things that I did not know that you talk about a lot is that um, it's not as much about keywords and all of that now, that it's that uh, YouTube analyzes the what you're saying in the videos. So
Yeah.
that key of using and nobody has seemed to pick up on that.
No.
I haven't had anybody comment like, you keep saying the same words over and over again. But I mean, that was a huge insight that I had no idea about at all. And I think another really, I don't know if this is an insight or not, but having somebody, so a couple of things that I wanted to say that you're very different from other coaching that I've done or courses that I've done is that, one, you actually have YouTube channels. I think there's a lot of people that are teaching, oh, how to sell on Amazon, or how to, and most of their money is coming from telling people
Right.
how to do it rather
Yeah.
than them doing it themselves. But the fact that you're making videos all the time and we're able to see, you know, what you're doing, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Um, so
No, I agree.
I
There's a
think,
lot of people out there who I made a video on it. I don't even know if you saw it, but I recently posted a video on my channel. It was like kind of exposing the faceless YouTuber dream scam, where it's
mhm.
like these YouTubers, like I know them, I know a lot of them. I would never call them out by name. I feel like it's just not that's just like really not professional at all. But I know for a fact that these people they'll post screenshots of them making 30K in a month. It's like that's cool, like 30K revenue, that's great. But they spent 50K to do that, and then they make all their
Yeah,
profit from selling courses on teaching people how to make 30K. When in reality, they're 50K in the red on their channel. Or they'll have YouTuber friends and they just ask for manager access on their channel so they can take screenshots of the studio whenever they're making the money and just sell courses off of it. And when you can spot it, you can spot these scammers from pretty far away if you just open your eyes a little bit. But yeah, that was one thing when I first started the coaching. I had gotten banned on my main one and only channel back then, and I was like, yeah, I can't be just coaching people on how to do it and not being in the game, like for multiple reasons, Like number one, it's just like better if you guys can watch me do it. Like it just gives you more confidence in the things that I'm telling you that they work if I'm actually doing it in real time. And number two is you stay up to date, like with all the trends and everything when you're actually in the trenches doing it. So yeah, I think. And also, that's where I make most of my money from. I make way more money from my YouTube channels than I do from coaching. It's
yeah.
just kind of like a passion. Like I actually genuinely enjoy coaching. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
it's
and
fun.
we know that.
I've
I
I've
know
always
that.
been that way. Like it's crazy because before I ever even had a thought, an inkling that I would ever do coaching ever, I would I would find people every once in a while that I just think were genuinely good people. And I like one of my best friends, his name's Matt. And I just like found him when he had like 12 subscribers or something. And I was just like, bro, let me help you. Like
Yeah,
you're doing really bad. And he's at like, I don't know, 5K and he just does it casually. He doesn't want to do it full time. But that brings me way more joy to see him succeed. And I've always said this than my channels could ever bring me. Like I just like helping other people. So it's just, yeah, it's genuinely like a passion thing for me. So I appreciate you saying that. And that's
oh
definitely
yeah,
good insight too. You have any other
yeah.
ones that you wanted to share?
Um, yeah, a couple of things that you do in the group that I think are really great. One thing I don't want to just be like bashing,
Oh, it's all good.
guru people or whatever,
Yeah.
but I don't know how many times I've done things where you get in a group and it's like, oh, we're going to teach you everything about YouTube. And then you get in the group and it's like, well, you're paying X dollars a month, but if you want to get into our super secret, you know, uh,
Yeah.
the inner circle of the inner circle that's $1,000 a month or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that kind of crap. But one of the things that I really like that you do I mean, you tell me, I think I've done a pretty good job with this, but is that you cut through a lot of the nonsense and just say, just do this. This is going to
Yeah.
work instead of like, well, what if I do this? What if I do this? And you just say, no, do this. It's going to work.
Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
we have to be robots or something, but I think that's really great to just be like, hey, I know what's going to work because I've done this many times before. So just follow my blueprint. And like a perfect example of that is, you're telling us all the time, just make more videos.
Yep.
That's kind of the number one secret that's not a secret. And like I was saying just a minute ago, I increased my production and the money's going up.
Yeah.
So I got a little maybe overly ambitious and was like, oh, I'm going to do 3 videos a day. And I haven't quite been able to do that, but I'm doing 2, almost every day. So,
Well, you're making good money. Are you having any thoughts that I don't know if you want to say or not, you don't have to say it, but that you might quit your job and like just do YouTube full time
I mean, probably
or with the YouTube and ecom full
yeah,
time?
eventually. I mean, I'm still going to have the ecom. So, but, yeah, I mean, the thing that I have always wanted is freedom, and not just financial freedom, but and not, I don't like working for other people.
Right.
Um, but just what is great about, I think about, anything that you can do that's, if you're selling digital products or something like YouTube, is that, so like I so I'm going on vacation. I just bought a new laptop. I'm going to take the laptop with me and I'm going to make videos while I'm on vacation. So, with YouTube, um, you can do it, all you have to have is an internet connection. So
Yeah.
you can,
Location
um,
freedom too. Yeah.
yeah, so that's something that I've thought about, because that's something that has always really interested me, is that kind of digital nomad lifestyle where you could just sort of travel around. And because there's a lot of places that I've not, like, I haven't been out of the country. I've been in most of the places I want to see in the United States, but I'd like to go, to Europe and
Yeah.
some other countries and things. And so yeah, I mean, kind of to give you a non-answer, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to continue to work for a while, but at this point, that already making 3,500 bucks in like less than a month. And you keep saying, which I really like, so with what we're doing, it's not just the nuts and bolts part, but you talk about mindset a lot. And you know, I've been making money online for a long time. So I've been kind of exposed to people that they're making $100,000 a month, or they make 500, I've met some of those people. So it's not like that's completely a foreign concept to me. But when I was talking about moving those goalposts, you were like, well, you're going to make a lot more than that. So don't just
Yeah.
say, well, oh, I'm excited that I made $3,500, which I am, but strive for more than that.
Yeah. Expect more, the standard should be higher. The standard it's obviously a good like little milestone just to know that you're on the right track. I mean, 3,500 in the first month to be monetized is good.
Yeah.
Like objectively really good. Most
Okay.
people don't even meet the $100 threshold. Like, people not in here. Obviously, you see like a lot of people. So I think our views on YouTube are a little skewed because there's a lot of people inside who are doing really good. And like
Hmm.
you see like Tyler and Aaron and all these guys, and they're like, hey, look at this money I made. But outside, like if you go watch people on their YouTube channels and they'll show you like how much they made their first paycheck, and it's always like less than $100. Like they don't even meet the threshold
Hmm.
most of the time. So it's
Yeah.
objectively good. But I just like I don't ever I think it subconsciously it's really easy to start lowering your standard when you start to celebrate victories. So I just make sure like that doesn't happen. I think it's important to make sure like yeah, 3,500 is really good. The standard should be at least 10K a month though, because it's
Yeah.
so possible. Like like it's right there. You just got to go take it.
And it's been super motivating to me to just be like, okay, you know, I had a day that I made 700 bucks. I had, and the day before that, I made 500 and some bucks. So you're like, okay, you know, if you can do that once, why can you not do that every day?
Yep.
And it's not like, oh, that's a total pipe dream. Like, oh, this was just a fluke that I had, you know, um, one video make it to close to 400,000, that you can do that again.
Yep. Yeah, that's another benefit of just having like a proven system, and then you have other people who are in the same niche as you and outside the same niche as you that are also doing the same thing with the same systems, and it's like why would it not work again? It's like I think there's different levels of belief too. I wanted to talk about this on a group call, but I'll just kind of break it down real quick. I think number one is like self-belief. That's like level one. Like it's pretty low. Like you first start something and you're like, yeah, I can do this. And then you always like fall into the pit of despair once you realize like what actually goes into it. And you're like, damn, this is actually a lot of work. I don't know if this is going to work out. But I think the level two of belief is like seeing other people doing it, or being around a community. Then you get a little bit more belief. And then if you have a mentor or a coach, you get like level three. And it's like, oh, I have somebody who's actually done it, holding my hand through the process. And then you hit level four, and that's like doing it yourself. And once you've actually done it yourself, it just unlocks a whole new world. Like once you hit that 400K view video, and for a fact it wasn't an accident, like you didn't just get lucky on a random video of a ant eating a piece of cheese or something like that you recorded. You actually did it on purpose. There's just like a whole new belief. Like it's a whole new level that you unlocked that you're going to do it again. Like there's no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that I would say, and I don't know if people, how much people know about this, but you don't have, one of the things that I think is a big problem for people is wanting their videos to be perfect. And I'd recorded stuff for a while prior to this, so I wasn't really worried about speaking, and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that's crazy about this is, I mean, at most to do everything to record. Oh, before, so we were going to start this call like 30 minutes earlier, and so you said, "Hey, give me 30 minutes," and so I recorded a video during that time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's what I was
and
doing too.
oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
it's like, you know, and I'm doing very minimal editing. And so, recording, editing, doing the thumbnail, um, the title and the description and everything at most takes me 45 minutes. It's probably more like a half an hour. And there's been a lot of times where either, I'm recording before work, so I'll get up at 6 in the morning or whatever and make a couple of videos, or I'm recording them afterwards. And there's been times where I've been like, I'm tired. I don't really want to record a video. And I'll say, no, I've got to make a video. And even while I'm doing it, I'm thinking like, this isn't that great. And then that video makes me
Yep.
$100 or
Yeah.
$200. I mean, the
That's
video that
always
made
how
me,
it goes, dude.
yeah, the video
Always.
that made $1,300. I mean, I spent, not more than 45 minutes on that. So it's like, then you start thinking about like, I've never had a job that paid $100 an hour. Definitely never had a job that paid $1,300 an hour.
Yeah.
So you just start thinking like, gee, all I have to do is like a couple hours a day of work to make some serious money.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's just like, it just kind of becomes like, what are your goals? Like, do you want a lifestyle business or do you want to make 100K a month? And if you're making that much money in only a couple hours a day, it's pretty easy to see like where you go next. If you want to make 100K a month, you just do more. You just
Yeah.
post more videos or make another channel. If you know my stance on that, but whatever you decide to do, it's pretty like you're only working a couple hours a day. You got a whole lot more wiggle room if you want to make more.
Well, and one thing that I wanted to say is along those lines. So I did kind of break your rule and I made a second channel just because that was when I was like sort of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I thought, oh, I'll make a second channel and that can maybe be sort of a different stance. I did that. I made one video, recorded one video. I just went back to my original channel and didn't just sort of forgot almost that I'd made that second channel. Uh, Went in back into it like 2 weeks later, and that video had more than 50,000 views. It was a brand new channel, the very first video, and it got 50,000 views. So,
Dude,
um,
that's
yeah.
insane. That's nuts. Well, I don't let's I don't want to keep you for too long, but got a couple more questions. Number
Okay.
one, what do you think is like the most valuable part of the coaching program overall? Because I think I'm always interested to hear this for market research, but also like just genuinely interested because so many people give so many different answers that I interview. For me, like if when I join coaching programs and for this one that I am the whatever you would call it, the actual coach, the community helps me the most. Like even talking to y'all in group calls, hearing y'all's conversations between one another, it like motivates me. Like whenever you come on the call and you're like, yeah, I made $3,600 in the first month being monetized. Like that motivates me. It's like, oh, I need to make more. Like, damn, I've been monetized on this channel for 6 months. I need to make more. It's
Yeah.
just
And
like,
that first day I was like, I thought, I hope that it doesn't come off like I
no,
didn't want to
dude.
sound like arrogant or something,
No, we're dude, the
Um,
entrepreneur world is like that's just the language that you speak. Like you just speak in how much money you made this month. Like that's just
yeah.
there's no ego attached. If there is ego attached, then you're probably not going to make it very far.
But yeah, so like Tyler, like what he was doing, that really motivated me because I was like, wow, he's hitting these big numbers and stuff. And it seemed, I was really far away from that. And it was like, wow, I want to be able to do that, so that motivated me. And also I just think having access to somebody like you who is doing this and you have a lot of connections with other people within this space and everything. So I think that is the big thing is just, if you have a really good coach like you, it's a shortcut because, you know, I could have, and I probably didn't stick with YouTube long enough on these other channels that I had, but I I could have, I figured out some of this on my own. And if I had plugged away, for another 6 months or a year just by myself, I probably would have grown one or two of those channels more. But having somebody like you to, and we can just say like, hey, look, can you look at this thumbnail or you can look at our title or whatever. And I'm not doing a lot of that now, but early on, when I was trying to get a feel for things, we can always ask you that stuff, anytime. And that's really just it's like a cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
remember like when you had that time where it was kind of like a down period, you're getting like stuck at 1,000, 2,000 views. That probably would have been a moment where a lot of people quit. Like if they don't have somebody saying, no, like it looks good, just post more, like just keep
mhm.
going and it'll happen. Like you need somebody there to tell you that a lot of the time. Like most people are not like me, where I'm just like a psychopath. I just decide I'm gonna do something, and sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's like I'm gonna hit I'm gonna hit level 99 in RuneScape. Like I'm gonna hit 99 in the skill, and it's like, well, that's a big waste of time. But I just decided, so I'm gonna do it now. Or it's like I'm gonna make it full time on YouTube. I'm gonna do it. Like whatever I decide to do, I'm gonna do it. And most people are not like that. They're like, oh, this thing isn't working after 6 months. I'm going to give up. And that would probably be one of those times where most people would give up. But since you had a community, you had me, I was like, dude, it's like your channel looks good. Like it's just like, just post more and keep going and it's going to happen. And then look what happened.
Yeah.
It happened, you know?
Well, and I don't know if I said this on our initial call or not, but like I said at the beginning of this, I've done so many different things.
Yeah.
And when I found you on Instagram and then I started watching your YouTube videos, and I really kind of felt like, okay, if this doesn't work, I don't know that I'm ever going to get another, something aside from I knew I didn't want to do another e-commerce business, and I've tried, I did drop shipping and I tried other, to try to just have a second e-commerce business. And it's the bad thing about it is you're tied to it. There's got to be somebody to do, because I'm doing traditional e-commerce where, I have the products in hand, and, somebody's got to fill the orders and answer emails and phone calls and all that kind of stuff. But I knew I wanted to do something like YouTube. And it was kind of like, if this doesn't work, then maybe that's the end for trying to do something online. So,
Yeah. I didn't know
um,
that. I'm glad I didn't know that because
oh,
that would have
okay.
been a lot of pressure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm probably being a little bit hyperbolic, but
Yeah.
because I would have tried, something else probably, but um, yeah, I mean, just and I'm motivated by, when I can see some success, and especially like with this, it's like, oh, I made $50 today or whatever. Uh, I want to, I
Yeah.
want to make more videos so I can, keep increasing that. And so, yeah, I mean, again, how quickly it's happened has been, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I have been surprised.
Yeah.
So,
That's good. We're a long way from being done though. The job's not
mhm.
finished at all. It's just getting started. But cool. Last question, or one of the last questions. What would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence about joining? Maybe they've been watching my stuff for a while and they're like, I don't know about this Justin guy. What would you say to
Oh,
that
well,
person?
well, I mean, and I did say to you on the first call that, I'd gotten kind of ripped off before.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
so,
bro, it's side note, I get that on basically every single call. Like it's
yeah.
crazy how many scammers there are. It's
And
nuts.
so, I mean, I didn't want to be like not trusting, but I was just kind of like, I really hope
No,
like you're
I
honest,
understand. Trust me, I
and
understand.
but yeah, I mean, unequivocally, if you are interested in trying to make it with YouTube, work with Justin. I mean, it's been great. I mean, um, you know, and you'll do anything that you can to help us succeed. And there's like tough love in there, which I think is good. You're not
Yeah.
too tough on us, but I mean, I think I mean, to just be like, hey, okay, you're tired, whatever, make a video.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes I hold back a little bit, and I wish I
I,
didn't hold back at times where it's like, no, I should have told him that, huh? But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I would not hesitate. I mean, I wish and this is, you don't want to have these thoughts, but I'll so you know, I was just thinking about this probably today. I wish I'd just done this a year ago because think about how far
Yeah.
along I'd be. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I understand, man. I wish when I started YouTube there was a such thing as online coaching programs because like I can't imagine how far I would be along if I could have had that. I had to do it all myself. So we're living in a crazy time right now, crazy opportunity. Like if you're not making money online right now, then you're not trying hard enough, like straight up.
and I'm sure there are people who are saying, and you maybe you get this on calls, I don't know, but I'm sure there are people saying, it's too late to get into YouTube. There's already, a billion videos or whatever. So,
Yeah.
5 years ago, if you'd gotten into YouTube, and clearly that's not the case. I mean, you know,
There's all I think it's easier today than it's ever been for like brand new channels to get. I mean, you just said you had a channel, you posted one video, got over 50,000 views. Like I think
yeah.
it's easier today than ever to get discovered on YouTube. I think they're changing the algorithm to where it used to be like a hardcore rich get richer type platform. I don't think it's like that anymore. I think the best content just rises always now, most of the
Yeah.
time. But
And it's work. I don't want people to think that it's not work. I mean, you have to put in the time,
yeah.
but this is the easiest money I've ever made in my life, I mean,
Yeah, no doubt. No
so
doubt. But all right, but one last question. What's the plans for the future? Like what are your upcoming goals that you want to hit? What's the overall plans for YouTube going forward?
I mean, I don't know that I want to limit, just say like, okay, I would want to hit this number and limit that because I've already passed, you know, surpassed where I thought it would be, this quickly. So, but I definitely want to get into that 10K a month, range. But like I say, my real goals would just be to, be able to be making, consistent money, more than what I make in my job.
Yeah.
And, I know there's going to be ups and downs, but like you said in a call the other day, that like real freedom is knowing that you could lose all your money, but this is a plan that you could follow to make the money over
Yep.
again. So I really feel that, yeah, I mean, my goal is just to be able to know that I can make good money with this consistently each month and get to that to where I could take some time and just if I want to go to, California or whatever and rent a house for a month, I could just do that and just make YouTube videos every day and, you know, know that I'm going to still make a good income.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I want.
That's awesome.
I don't really know what the number is on that, but
Yeah, I don't like to put numbers on myself either. Although there are like certain milestones that I really want to hit, like the 100K a month. I would love to hit 100K a month from YouTube. I feel it coming. I
yeah.
just feel it feels so close. I want to hit it, but yeah, there's like little numbers like that, but I don't like to limit myself either. And yeah, I mean, the thing about the true freedom is being able to lose it all and be confident that you'll get it back. That's why I love stuff like this because it's a true skill set. Like no matter what, if you learn how to grow on YouTube organically, you're always going to be paid. Like whether that's from YouTube itself or maybe you start an agency and help other people, like maybe you start helping local businesses grow a YouTube presence or something like that. Like whatever. You're always going to be like that. It's such a high leverage skill. Whereas people like get on a crypto pump or something, they lose everything. They have no
Mhm.
skills. They can't get it back. They have to go start from scratch now. So yeah, that's something that's why I love this stuff so much. It's because it's a skill. It's 100% a skill.
Yeah. And I mean, the passion that you have for this, obviously shows through. So, I mean, that's a huge positive that working with you that we have is that you really, it's not like, this is just easy for me. And so I can
Yeah.
make money with it. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
into this. So that makes it really great.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. I'm super happy to see all your success. Like I said, it makes me way happier than my own success. So it's awesome to see. And you definitely deserve it. I mean, you worked your ass off and
Well, thanks.
it
I
was it
appreciate it.
was it wasn't always smooth sailing, you
No,
had a lot
no.
of ups and a lot of downs on the way, but yeah, I mean,
And you kept telling me like, you're close on this. You just have to
yeah.
I mean, admittedly, I was copying your thumbnails for a while and, you know, and then
Yeah.
you're like, you need your own thumbnails. And I did that, I think, and,
Yeah.
that made a huge difference. And
Yeah,
so
man.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned some stuff from Chris. I think he dropped a lot of value in this. So appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for coming. And
Yep.
I'll see you guys on the next video.